How's it hanging, fellas? I'm OrosZ and this is another episode of Team Fortress 2, and in today's episode you might be wondering why the fuck did this episode came out so long after all the other episodes? First of all, why did it came out after all the other episodes? Well, the story is I have so little space to keep my videos on my computer that when I was taking my video taking the 13th episode of Team Fortress 2 from my disk that I keep all my videos on onto my computer, nothing really suspicious happened, but when I went to upload that episode, it got stuck on 99%, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? It's been on 99% for like a whole day now. And then I realized, and that was when I realized that, oh shit, the video got corrupted, and I lost the footage of that. This is also the reason why I'm not playing with Boss in this episode, because we had very little time that we made to play together, and when I asked him yesterday, this is footage from yesterday to me, I asked him like, do you want to play TF2? And he was like, I don't really got time. So he didn't get time. I wanted to just make this episode and get it over with, because the fact that I lost the original footage pissed me off so much. Yeah, I got this grenade launcher that gets like heavier grenades than a normal rock grenade launcher. And I did like a lot of damage to people in this episode, but I just like barely actually killed anybody. There we go. I did kill that guy. Oh, look at that sniper, so nice of him. I wanted to say thanks, but I called him a fucking. Oh, I got an assist. You fucking stole my kill, you dickhead. Medic! Yeah, so the original episode was pretty much completely different. I played on completely different maps. I would say I did slightly worse than in this episode. In this episode I didn't die as much as in that episode, because in that episode I remember that there was so many scouts on the server, but I was dedicated to playing as a fucking... Oh, look at this shit. I wanted to really kill somebody with my axe. This guy got a fucking crit on me and just like killed me in one shot. Are you fucking joking? The guy who asked. Nobody asked. He did. The Iron Bomber. Everybody... I remember when I was at it, I think it was just added like out of nowhere. With no update or anything, like no big update. It was just kind of dropped into the game as like an alternative for the default grenade launcher, and I was like, this is kind of lame. But over time I actually learned that this grenade launcher I actually liked more than the default one, because the problem with the default one that sometimes it's cool, but not most of the time it's not to me. It's the fact how when I shoot grenades, a lot of the time they just like they just like go a long distance, and I overshoot my targets. But with this one, it's less of a deal. Less of a big deal, I guess. Then got him, I hit him twice. Come on. I'm doing so much damage in this game, but I'm always just not getting killed, and that's fucking infuriating. Not to mention that for some reason, when I'm like dealing a lot of damage to enemies, I oftentimes end up not even killing them. Oh, but you know what I remembered? In the original episode, I actually read part of this fanfic. Because I was reading, I think a couple of episodes ago, before this one, right? I was reading a fanfic, and I read the first chapter. And in the next episode I read the first chapter, so I better read the second one, or else you're gonna be like, what the fuck am I even reading? So anyway, it's still the same one. I'll be home for the holidays, made by Chaos and Mayhem, chapter 2, whatever the fuck. No wait. The first chapter was like a prologue. This one is chapter 1. So next, I think later I read chapter 2 in that case. I don't think I read chapter 3, I definitely didn't finish that fanfic because it's really long. 25 chapters long. Oh, I got someone. Nice. Not that bad. I'm doing way better than last time. Last time I often, well, except now. Last time I often just fucking walked in and immediately got fucking blown up by a different demo mate. But scouts are still a fucking big pain in the ass when you play as a demo. Boy, will you just calm down already? The incident is over and done with. It was this fucking bird in my chest. Could have like picked my heart out or something. That's sinless. That's right, lady. You can't let a little bird get the best of you. Then I want to see you have fucking birds build up inside your chest, Cyclops. It was horrible. It was anxiety. Maggot, you are getting on my last nerves. What if I get some kind of deadly disease from it? Birds are dirty as shit. They got all kinds of sicknesses. Idiots. He was surrounded by idiots. Despite Huffled and Sam... Actually, I wonder if I read that chapter already. It'd be kind of a bummer if I read it twice. I don't think so. Last episode was the soldier episode. And I remember that I definitely read the prologue at the very end of it. So I definitely haven't read that. Unless I read it in the next episode and I fucked up and I'm sorry. But I don't think so. I also, these maps I play on in this episode, I never played on them before. They're like totally new to me. So often I just had no idea where I'm going. Yeah, I'm not very good with stickies. Like, especially some people use stickies as like their normal weapon, but I just cannot pull that off, to be honest. I usually just plant it as traps, but in this episode I just completely forgot to do that. Most of the time I was just ignoring my fucking stickies. Despite Captain sank lower into his uncomfortable folding chair, took the job a week ago, he'd been promised a staggering salary, endless chances to use his impressive skills, and comfortable housing. What the cold woman had recruited him had neglected to mention was the fact that he would be sharing this comfortable housing with 8 other men of varying degrees of potential mental illness. I guess this is like before they got used to each other. Dang. Next died and lit up, and the now servant flicked free. The tall, uncouth Aussie staggered out of the operating room, clutching his chest. "You were the kid, son?" He panted as he collapsed down into a waiting chair. "It really does hurt." He winced and dropped at his dropped chest. Next, the German back barked from his domain. He'd been in foul mood since the Archimedes incident. Soldier saluted the red tag, lot and marched into the operating room with a blow of make quick dog. Yeah, medic rumbled as the door swung shut once more. The Aussie sniper leaned forward and groaned, rubbing at his chest. Jesus Christ, when does this heartburn stop? See, the Boy Scout settled back with an air of triumph. "I told you so." "Shut up, Scout." It was a joint shout from everyone, and the boy cringed back to his seat. "Sorry." Might have said it like demo. "Sorry," muttered, sinking lower into the chair. "It's gonna be okay, Sniper," engineer inquired as he picked up his guitar once more. Well, he also blinked to his right. Spy was reflected at the question. Of all his teammates, Jackson was the one who came closest, but simply normal. Albeit a rather sense of normal. Sniper winced again and nodded. "I'll be fine, thanks for asking, mate." Also, sometimes there were lags such as these ones. You can tell that these are server lags, not on my part, because I can move normally. I can move the camera around. But the whole game is frozen. And that means that this is a server lag. So there's 3 different fucking kinds of lags that I have to fucking look out for when I'm recording TF2. My own lags, that the game just freezes, that's my fault, that's on my internet part. Server lag, such as this one that just happened and I died, I don't know how. And third kind is OBS lagging, and not recording shit from it, so that's great. It's a miracle I recorded anything, really. Also, the reason this episode is shorter than the original episode is because when I was playing, I just felt like this... I felt as if this episode was getting really fucking long, but it wasn't really. So I kind of fucked up, but whatever. For the most part, Spy was very good at filtering words with his brain and his mouth. Unfortunately, this filter was prone to malfunction too. I suppose you're used to heartburn on all the coffee you drink on an unhealthy diet. sniper looked up sharply, scowling at the smirking Frenchman. Piss off. Let your two start again, Engineer scowled. The last thing this team needs is the two of you. Wait, the two of you all fighting all the time. Tex is right, Demoman. The thought jerked his thumbs toward the Tex. Please do just let the pettiest and go. I feel like Demoman actually, out of all the characters in TF2, is like the chillest one, coolest. Well, except for the fact that he's drunk all the time, but if that wasn't the case, he'd be pretty fucking chill. Especially in the comics, he just seems like a cool fucking dude. Blah blah blah. Not till he apologized, the sniper pointed an accusing finger at Spy, who just waved a dismissive hand through the air. He started it, but he did not let it go, Bushman, Spy sneered. The only thing that spared Spy from an Aussie going for his throat was Pyro, who opened the door to the waiting room and waddled in with a flash magazine tucked under one arm. Instantly the rest of the mercenaries took a staring at the different corner of the room. Pyro exclaimed cheerfully as it settled itself down. And it? I mean, I appreciate that they wrote it, but I thought it was kind of obvious that Pyro is a dude. So whatever. I guess maybe they said like Pyro's not even a human being. As it settled itself down into the chair next to Engineer, the Texan was visibly nervous, but he cleared his throat and managed to feint, "Hey Pyro, how are you?" Nevertheless, the scout poked Engineer's shoulder. "Dude, like I don't think he can hear you. I think he's like just a freaking suit." Trailed off, nervously as Pyro leaned around Engineer to look at the boy. Two blank eye sockets fixed squarely on his eyes. Hey Pyro. After a tense moment, Pyro lifted its gloved hand and waggled its finger at Scout before refocusing on its magazine. Scout's eyes fogged out of his head and began to gesticulate silently to Engineer. The effect of "This guy is insane, how can he be sitting next to him right now?" Behind the goggles, Engineer's eye performed a dramatic roll. He pressed the palm of his hand up to Scout's face and shoved the boy away. Sniper took another deep breath, good and stretched. Gonna go get some fresh air. You know, when I lose the game, I always appreciate that at least I wasn't alive when I fucking lost. I mean, it's quite funnier when I lose the game and I manage to survive.
Competition begins in 10 seconds.
You know, there wasn't any bots this time around. Yeah, so if you're watching this, I finished my continuation of TF2, but I'm not sure when I'm gonna come back to it once more. Maybe sooner than later, because there's not really many games. There's not really that many games that I wanna really play this year. We done Cyberpunk, then I did the continuation of TF2. Oh shit, double kill. And the only thing I got left going on is maybe Psychonauts 2. So depending on when Psychonauts 2 comes out, I guess I could also somewhere along this year fit in. See, this time I tried to do that, but I guess they blew up my CPU. I tried to blow them up because they got pretty close to the point. I missed. See, I tried doing that, but I'm just not very good at it. Here a bunch of fucking scouts just fucking got me. Suck. Does it, Demoman gesture to his faintly grown chest? Really hurt that much? Oh yeah, sniper tip. His cat swerved a bit. Good day, mate. Good day, Bushman. By murder, his gaze was the opposite wall, but nevertheless he could feel Sniper's glare as the Aussie stalked out of the waiting room. I'm not very good at reading, as you may tell. Well, whatever. Doesn't fucking stop me. Not very good at this game either, and doesn't fucking stop me from playing it. Pyro glanced up from its magazines to study Spire. What? Spire eyes flickered to the masked abomination for an instant. That's not very nice. The engineer cleared his throat. Spire said, "You know, you all try to get along with each other." Demoman and Scout turned to Engineer stunned. "How can you tell?"
We have lost control point.
engineer. So, it's simple really. Engineer launched into a long and technical spiel on decoding Pyro's speech, and while Pyro nodded along, Spy to making his way through the pack of cigarettes, soon accumulating an impressive little pile of ash on the floor. He was not afraid of doctors, he simply didn't like them. Having run out of cigarettes 45 minutes ago, this he knew for certain because he'd been looking at the clock for every few minutes. Spike had been biting his nail, chewing the inside of his cheek. I do that a lot. All the time I just bleed inside of my mouth. All the fucking time. And then I eat something like like a lemon, or like, I don't know, some kind of fucking pickle, and then just fucking hurts my mouth. Instead of the cheek, grinding his teeth and bouncing his leg up and down rapidly, he was definitely not afraid of doctors. Not that there would have been any wrong with being afraid of doctors. Spy Mind was quickly to assure him. Plenty of people were afraid of doctors, and for good reason. The too sterile habit, all those weird sharp instruments, big lab coats. Spy's stomach gave a nasty little jolt, and bile rushed to his throat. He forced it back down, and through sheer force of will, he had a great distance for doctors. That certainly wasn't the same thing as fear, though. His chest was already aching from the idea of being cut wide open. The okay Slim, engineer soft question told the Frenchman out of his revere. Scowled at the Texan. Stumped in French. What makes you ask? Nothing, I just been sitting here watching y'all twitch and fidget like a dog with an itch he can't scratch. Something the matter? Anyone else would have been mildly touched by the concern of a near stranger, but for some reason I found the question invasive. Snorted, I'm fine. Alright, the engineer looked down, plucking at his guitar lazily. If you say so. His goggles kept his eyes as they continued to keep an eye out on the jittery Spy, who had begun to collapse and unclapse his hand in a nervous fashion. Look, I leveled up, I'm level 27, I have a new fucking rank. It's blue. The other one was like more cyan. Or maybe almost silver. Claps and claps. They were the only ones left in the waiting room, and Medic seemed to be taking his own sweet time with Pyro's operation. The silence, broken only by the faint ticking of the clock on the wall, was defending to the sociable engineer. He racked his brains trying to find something to say to his distant and distracted teammate, but there was nothing. Spy was an utter enigma, even more than so than Pyro. At least Pyro made an attempt to be friendly. With the Frenchman, there was no such vestiges of shit. Stop using such fucking difficult words, goddammit. Amicability? What the fuck is that? I don't know. Pyro walked out of the operating room, whistling a merry tune under the mask and patting his suit happily. Hey, Pyro, engineer set his guitar aside and stood. How did it go? Pyro gave engineer a thumbs up and a squeak, indicating all was well. Next, Medic, exhausted, barks and engineer scattering into the room, removing his hard hat and goggle. This map I never fucking even seen. I had no idea where the fuck I was going.
Prepare to complete in 10 seconds.
Blah blah blah. What did I left on?
3, 2, 1.
Good to go, Doc. For a moment, Pyro and Spy were left staring at each other. Spy scowled as he picked at his cuticles. What do you want? Pyro shrugged, grabbed the discarded magazine once more and waddled out. Spy glared at the creature, retreating back. He refused to acknowledge that Pyro was human, that Pyro was just something. A human didn't take such glee in burning people alive. A human didn't take that much sadistic pleasure in what Pyro did. Spy's arms wrapped themselves around his stomach as he waved the sickness at him. A doctor he could have faced barely, maybe. With bravery, maybe. But a German doctor who enjoyed his time out on the battlefield wrecking chaos and mayhem on the unsuspecting victims? No, that was an entirely different case altogether. Medic was absolutely terrifying. When the kids first met, he seemed reasonable enough, calm, intelligent, no one would suffer. Not one to suffer truly lightly. The minute the fight against Blue had started, however, a maniac side to Medic is revealed. Much to the horror of everyone, the men seemed to have a fondness for giant needles and a trembling enthusiasm for plunging that said needles into exposed flesh. There was a part of Medic that reminded Spy just a little too much of them. Ooh. He couldn't go in there like them from They Live. No wait, them from not They Live. There was a movie I think what they refer to like some alien creature as Dem. Wasn't the movie just called Dem? I don't fucking know. He couldn't go in there. He couldn't go there and just let that man start poking around inside. He could have run. He could say, no thank you, I'm just not up to it today. He would make himself sick if he had to. Despite took all of these options into serious consideration as he takes furiously at his crucible. Somehow time slowed and then sped up again rapidly. You could hear engineer voice one more time as the Texan pushed open the door. You sure hot grits are alright? We don't need no fancy diet. 9 per engineer. Medic assured him as he escorted him to the door. Hot grits are perfectly acceptable. Engineer beamed and tipped his hard hat in Medic's direction. Thanks, Doc. Good luck, Slim. The last was added to Spy as the Texan exited. And then Medic half smiled as his remaining patient. There was one coming along, her Spy. All of Spy's limbs felt numb and useless as he watched himself out of his cold, uncomfortable folding chair and staggered toward Medic. Somehow his heart had been wound up in his throat and was locked there so tightly that it was becoming difficult to breathe. He dragged himself after Medic and couldn't help but notice his patient's lack of enthusiasm. Nothing to worry about, I assure you. He snapped on a pair of clean gloves as he spoke. This is not much more than a routine operation. Yes, but Spy couldn't control the whine in his voice, and if he were feeling better, he would have been mortified. Do you have to do it? I doubt I'll be on the receiving end of an Uber charge. I do not like taking chances, Medic replied calmly. It's a gesture to the operating table. And the sooner you get this over with, the sooner you can go, yeah? Oh, Spy grumbled. No wait, sorry. Spy grumbled. He jerked off his tie and unbuttoned his jacket, pausing at the white shirt underneath. Turn around for a moment, he ordered. Medic couldn't contain his smirk. What is that? The modest Frenchman. Nonetheless, he obeyed the jumping Frenchman, spinning around the collapse with his hands behind his back. He started the x-rays taken off heavier. The Spy slipped off his jacket, pulled off his undershirt, and then placed his jacket on one side. Ready? Spy cleared his throat, clinging to his crumpled up shirt. Ah, very modest Frenchman. There was mockery in Medic's tone, but beneath it, a faint assurance. Come along now, her modesty. Spy rubbed his arm as he slowly walked towards the operating table. Even with the protection of his jacket, he still felt woefully exposed. The churning sensation of his stomach was now working overtime in order to pay the bills. No, he had to do this. He was not afraid of doctors. Oh, I got a fucking Spy. God damn it, I really wanted to kill someone with that fucking thing. It just wouldn't fucking work. Spy took a deep, steadying breath and climbed up onto the chilled operating table, settling back and watching Medic bustle about with eyes like hawk. He only just held back a flinch when Medic switched on the minigun suspended overhead. Medigun suspended overhead. The stream of red light focused on Spy's dead stomach. I think it will keep me from dying, he muttered. Quite right, Medic pronounced the long-sleeved knife from seemingly nowhere in Spy's tip. Now if you could just stay still. We do not want his sleeping. He tilted his head to the side, studied Spy's hair, chest, and put a slight bit of pressure on his exposed flesh. Medic made the mistake of blinking. Somewhere in the second or so it took for his eyes to close and reopen. Spy launched himself across the room, collapsed to his knees and vomited into a bucket. Medic wrinkled his nose at the hacking and wheezing coming from the depths of the bucket before holding his arms over his chest. That, he grumbled, is not what I was considering staying still. After another minute of reaching, Spy fed back at the fuel, snarkily wimping his mouth with his jacket sleeve. My apologies, Doctor, he muttered. This is quite unlikely. Yes, well, you were not the first one to throw up, do not worry. Spy glanced over his shoulder. Medic was leaning up against the operating table, playing idly with his knife. He didn't feel the Frenchman's gaze, for he glanced up with another half-smile. The scout almost wet his pants.
Our control point
Kept his tone light as he went back, fiddling with his knife. And the sniper nearly broke down in tears. Soldier and Demoman threw up as well. There is no shame in being afraid, I assure you. His tone was calm and gentle. His gaze, understanding his Spy known better, might have mistaken this man for a kindly, aging Vegetarian. had to be patient. There was no shame in being afraid, he had said. Another had been just as scared as he was. Medic was different. Medic wasn't like them all. So shouldn't Medic operate on himself too? He could do this. Slowly, carefully, Spy made his way back to the operating table. He hoisted himself up onto the cold surface just as Medic produced a pack of cigarettes from his vest pocket. Good patience. Have dangled the cigarette pack from his forefingers and thumb, watching Spy eye lit up to get the words. The cigarette pack landed in Spy's lap. He had already begun to light one up when Medic came back around with a knife. So, Medic began cheerfully, did you catch Manchester United games this weekend? Spy glared at him, affronted, and why would I be watching them play? I'm a proud Frenchman, not some bandwagon. He began a long and lengthy rant on Englishmen and football, not even noticing that Medic had already made the first occasion. So that's chapter 1. No, I think I read 2 more chapters now that I look at the next one. I think the next one is like when they talk about respawning. Or like, I think 5 just like blew up and had it like broken and shit. And I pretty much read this whole fanfic for the whole episode. I got this mixed monster over here. It's pretty good. Did I have a swastika on him? Did he? I couldn't tell. I killed 1 person, died 7 times. Yeah, he's not doing that.
Control point is being contested.
But you know what? If I was ashamed of how not good I'm doing at this game, I wouldn't upload this to YouTube. I wouldn't talk over this. I wouldn't say that yes, this is me playing the game, not somebody else who plays worse than me. I assure you, I'm the best at Demoman. Nah, I just don't care. Like I'm not some kind of I'm not proud or anything like that, where if someone would accuse me of playing slightly bad, I would have like gone crazy. Like, no, I'm not. I'm actually the best at this game, and I would not have fucking taken. I would have refused to acknowledge that I'm pretty shitty. Other than the skill I pulled off. I pulled off because the guy stood still. Cut off his head. It has an Islander logo, even though I was using this. See, I thought I was playing for like a long time, but I really wasn't. And that's why I quit right now, but...
4, 3, 2.
Yeah, whatever, maybe it's for the best. So see you fellas in the next episode, bye.